Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better, claimed because it was grassy and wanted wear, though, as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet, knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh somewhere ages and ages. Hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. There was a time when the people of the world were convinced the sun revolved around the earth. A few visionaries stubbornly refused to accept what was obvious to everyone else, and because Copernicus, Galileo, and a handful of others risked their lives to choose the road less traveled, the rest of the world eventually caught on to what is now obvious to everyone in the 21st century. The earth revolves around the sun. What's more, in the last 100 years, we've discovered that even space is curved, though that one's still a little hard for most people to wrap their minds around. The truth is, everything is curved. There is no true straight line. Everything is changing, including your life. You are on a journey, your life path. That path is a curve. You're curving either upward or downward. It may seem to you that today was much like yesterday. It wasn't. It was different. Every day's appearances can be deceiving, and almost always are. There may be times when things seem to be on a steady, even keel. This is an illusion. In life, there is no such thing as staying in the same place. There are no straight lines. Everything curves. If you're not increasing, you're decreasing. Let's take a look at what the slight edge actually looks like by going back to the wealthy man's lesson. If you make a graph of the penny doubled every day for a month, it will look something like this. This is not only a picture of compound interest, it's also a picture of how the slight edge looks when it's working for you. Now, let's get a sense of what the slight edge looks like and feels like when it's working against you instead. It's simple. Just put a mirror up to the first illustration. This graph shows you that when it's not working in your favor, the slight edge can be a very sharp and unforgiving edge indeed. If you understand and live by the law of compound interest, your life will look like the upper half of this graph. If you don't understand and live by the law of compound interest, your life will look like the lower half of this graph. Wherever you may be in your own life, understanding the slight edge will give you the tools to start fresh right now, and place yourself firmly on the upper curve. The upper curve is the formula for success. A few simple disciplines, repeated every day. The lower curve is the formula for failure. A few simple errors in judgment, repeated every day. The upper curve represents that one person out of 20, the 5% who are successful and happy at the end of their lives. The lower curve represents the other 19, the 95% who reach their golden years angry and bitter, and have no idea or concept of how they got there or why. Life, it seems to them, is unfair, and that's just how it is. But you and I know that's not the case. It's not a matter of being fair or unfair. It's pure geometry, the geometry of time. Most people hold time as their enemy. They seek to avoid the passage of time and strive to have results now. That's a choice based on a philosophy. Successful people understand that time is their friend. In every choice I make, every course of action I take, I always have time in mind. Time is my ally. That too is a choice based on a philosophy. Time will be your friend or your enemy. It will promote you or expose you. It depends purely upon which side of this curve you decide to ride. It's entirely up to you. If you're doing the simple disciplines, time will promote you. If you're doing the few simple errors in judgment, time will expose you no matter how well you appear to be doing right now. Time is the great equalizer. If God had meant man to fly, he would have given him wings. Bishop Milton Wright, have you ever wondered why people can't fly? We have a phrase we use when something difficult, painful, or tragic happens. We say, "Whoa, that's heavy." And indeed, it is. Life is heavy. The predominant force on Earth is gravity, and gravity is always pulling you down. Just ask Bishop Milton Wright, the founder of Huntingdon College in Huntingdon, Indiana, who is reputed to have pointed out the self-evident truth in the quote above during a sermon he delivered in 1890. Some people, though, just can't seem to accept self-evident truths, like two of Bishop Wright's sons, who 13 years later built and flew the first successful, man-powered, heavier-than-air flying machine. Their names were Wilbur and Orville. Social science research says that, as a child, you heard the word no about 40,000 times by the age of 5, before you even started first grade. How many times had you heard the word yes? About 5,000. That's 8 times as many no's as yeses. 8 times the force holding you down, compared to the force lifting you up. 8 times the gravity against your desire to soar. Don't do that. Don't say that to your grandmother. Don't slouch. Don't touch that. It's hot. Don't talk to strangers. Don't cross the street. No, no. Mind you, most of these no's are well intended, like the police force motto. Their purpose is only to protect and serve. So I'm not criticizing the no's. But where are the yeses? Author Jerry Wilson, in his landmark book Word of Mouth Marketing, based his revolutionary exceptional customer service strategy on a statistic he'd found. The average customer will tell 3 people about a positive experience with a business or product, but will talk about a negative experience to 33 people. 11 bad experiences to 1 positive. 11 reasons an idea won't work to 1 reason it will. I mentioned earlier that only about 1 person out of 20 will ever achieve his or her goals and dreams in life. Regardless of what realm of life or work or play we're talking about, we'll see an average success rate of not more than 5%. Why is that? 40,000 no's to 5,000 yeses, 33 negatives to every 3 positives. Is it any wonder that 95% of us are failing? Is it any wonder most people don't fly? If you are one of those rare and special 5%ers who decides to ignore gravity and take to the sky one of those rare birds, like Orville or Wilbur, who chooses to break free of the downward pull of life and rise to a higher quality of life, accomplishment, and success. To be a pioneer and risk discomfort and ridicule for the sake of your dreams, well, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is, you're already exceptionally well oriented toward success. The bad news is, all those 95 others are going to be yanking on you, sitting on you, naysaying, and doomsaying on you, and doing their level best to pull you back down. Why? Because if you succeed, it reinforces that they are not where they want to be. They know instinctively that there are only 2 ways to make their building the highest. Building in town, build an even bigger one, or tear down all the others. Since the odds are against most people building the big one, and since it takes just too darn long to start seeing any results, and since they are not at all aware of the slight edge They're taking the path of least resistance and going into the demolition business. You can use the slight edge to break free of the downward pull of life and become the best you can possibly be. Or, the slight edge will pull you down, keep you down, and eventually take you out of your life. It's up to you. For things to change, you've got to change. For things to get better, you've got to get better. It's easy to do, but it's easy not to do, too. A man can fail many times, but he isn't a failure until he begins to blame somebody else. John Burroughs. If you want to measure where you are, if you want to know whether you're on the success curve or on the failure curve, or if you want to assess anyone else and determine which curve they're on, here's how. There is one attitude, one state of mind, which overwhelmingly predominates either side of the curve. The predominant state of mind, displayed by those people on the failure curve, is blame. The predominant state of mind, displayed by those people on the success curve, is responsibility. People on the success curve live a life of responsibility. They take full responsibility for who they are, where they are, and everything that happens to them. Taking responsibility liberates you. In fact, it is perhaps the single most liberating thing there is, even when it hurts, even when it doesn't seem fair. When you don't take responsibility, when you blame others, circumstances, fate, or chance, you give away your power. When you take and retain full responsibility, even when others are wrong, or the situation is genuinely unfair, you keep your life's reins in your own hands. Negative and difficult things happen to all of us. Most of them are mostly, or completely, out of our control. It's how we react, how we view those circumstances and conditions, that makes the difference between success and failure, and that is completely within our control. The 5%ers who dwell on the upper curve know there are no excuses. They understand and accept the fact that nobody can do it to them, and nobody can do it for them. Thank you so much for watching.